Aloha, shalom. So I am here to, let's see, just tuning in, here to go live for the new moon activation. And I'm so excited to see you all tuning in. So if you have any favorite groups where you think people would appreciate this activation, if you can go ahead and share it while I'm still live, that way we can get as many people as possible watching live and tuning in and opening up the portal even wider, that would be great. So any light worker groups, you know, star seeds, people that are receptive to this kind of work that we've been doing for the last 3 years, go ahead and share it. There's like Galactic Council of Light Workers, I'm a part of that group, Light Workers Live Feed, any of those cool ones that you know. Somebody tried to help me out with, Nancy, thank you, shout out, tried to help me out with sharing this video so that we can make that happen and get as many people live as possible, but I'm not very tech savvy and I'm not seeing it. So if whoever wants to share this, go ahead while we're still live. All right, I appreciate it. So we're at the new moon right now and we're really feeling this huge new beginning. It's not just any new moon, it's a super new feeling from our depths. Like I can feel that powerful energy building, like, oh, what's coming this week, so we also have the eclipse on Sunday. Well, depending on where you're at, you know, the eclipse is coming very soon. And then we have the solstice right after. So those two things being so close, the portal is opening right now and it's not closing anytime soon, okay? So this activation, as it travels this week to people all over the world, it's going to continue to be multiplied and magnified, the power in the message that we're going to pull today. So I'm very excited for you all to be tuning in and to be sharing this with your friends and family who, like I said, can help us to magnify the magic, to multiply the magic on such a powerful week. So make sure you're hydrated. I know I'm not hydrated enough. Okay. I'm live in Sedona, Arizona, by the way. So for those of you who are just tuning in to these activations for the first time, they are all done in Sedona, Arizona, such a powerful place. The red rock, the quartz crystal in the mountains, super powerful place. So grateful to be broadcasting from such a special location. For those of you tuning in for the first time, these activations don't necessarily have anything to do with the moon other than we're using it as a measurement of time. So the moon's light is not even her own. She just reflects and nurtures the light that she receives, which is the light of the sun. And even the light of the sun is receiving the light behind that, which is the light back of all things and the light inside of all things, including yourself. There's Nancy. Hey, shout out to Nancy. It's good to see you tuning in, sis. So I was just saying that you were helping me to understand how to share this live to groups right now so that more of us can tune in now live while we're pulling this magic and while we're opening the portal, but I couldn't figure it out. So feel free to go ahead and share. So as you all are tuning in, it's so good to see you guys. I'm going to shuffle you right into the deck. So I'm just tuning into you, tune into me, whatever you've been carrying with you in mind or in heart, maybe heavy thoughts, you know, repetitive thoughts and feelings, just like let it take a seat for this activation. We need to create the biggest space possible for the wisdom to come in. So that means we need to empty ourselves. We need to become clear, at least for this moment. And if at the end of this activation you wish to welcome back in those cyclical thoughts or feelings, go ahead by all means, but you may not wish to after this transformation. But just for now, ask it to take a seat. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed. So we don't need to create a space. We can just tune into the infinite space that already exists, that space inside our heart that we share. So I'll meet you there. It's Shabbat. So I love doing these activations on Shabbat, which is the Sabbath, that special time of week where we really set aside everything and just honor the union of the worlds, of the polarities, the within and the without, merging them together. So it couldn't be a better time. And like I said, we have the solstice coming. We also have an eclipse coming on Sunday. So this is very powerful energy. Tomorrow is the solstice. So this is only the beginning of the portal that's opening this week. And like I said, as this message travels the world this week, it's going to be magnified, multiplied. And so you here who are tuning in live are the initiators for this message that essentially is going to spread very far. So thank you. So go ahead and meet me in that infinite expansiveness of the heart. Just feel that clarity and openness. We are tuning into that never-ending space. And go ahead and connect to the deck however you know how, however you want to. Use your imagination. You can send a thread of light from your third eye to the deck, from your heart to the deck, whatever you want to do. Just be here now with me. All right. Thank you in advance, archetypes, Archetypal Alliance, of which we are all a part, faces of the one. Thank you for this wisdom that you wish to share with us today, which will guide us to direct our energies individually and collectively into the best channels to move forward with the most grace, the most ease, and with the least amount of crisis. So what are we to expect now? New moon, new beginning, solstice, eclipse energy. The birds are tuning in. What are we to expect right now? What's the theme of the time? What's our challenge? Let's just start there, because that could be a lot. That could be plenty. Ace of Wands is the card for right now, the theme for right now. This new moon, new beginning, powerful solar energy. Ace of Wands. Wands is the suit of fire and spirit. And this is the ace, baby. This is an initiation. Couldn't be a better card for a beginning. Okay, we are on fire. Wands, fire. The spirit is ablaze. Aces are not only new beginnings and initiations, they're also reminding us that we have the raw and full power of that element within us. So basically what that's saying is, hey, you're about to go on a journey. You're starting a new journey right now, and it's coming from your soul. Your soul is helping you to initiate this journey. It's going to be something involving your spiritual growth. And this is for all of us. This is collective. And it's saying, and you have everything within you that you could ever need to go on any journey. And the one right now having to do with fire and spirit, you have all the raw power of that element within you, fire, to ace this part of the path that we're now stepping into. So wow, I love this card as the card for this, not only this new moon, but this solstice energy, the eclipse energy. This is like the most powerful time of the year. It's like we're at a peak time. And the ancient people and the indigenous people knew that this was such a powerful time of the year. The solstices and the equinoxes were the most powerful times of the year. The veil is thin and the downloads are coming in. So it's time for us to feel that potency, that power, that initiation. We're ready, bring it on. Okay, there are crazy things happening all over the world right now, and it's just a reflection of what's going on inside. Because the underlying energies behind what's happening globally are also driving what is happening inside. The outside world is always a reflection of the inside world. So whatever comes next, I mean, guys, 2020 has been so crazy, right? It's like one thing after the next. So whatever comes next, we're ready. Don't be afraid. The Ace of Wands is saying, yo, you got this. Don't worry about, oh God, what's gonna come next? 2020 has been crazy so far. Does it matter? You got this. Focus less on the fear of what is to come and more on the fact that you have everything you need inside of yourself to get through it all. You have the raw power of spirit, of fire. So don't worry. Damn, it feels like one initiation after the next. But each one is opening up the portal to the next. It's because we're acing each challenge as it's being presented to us. We're developing new qualities, new gifts so quickly that we're just opening initiation after initiation, portal after portal. Why do you think there's so much intense stuff happening right now? Because we're ready for it. Because the divine plan would not initiate such intense circumstances if we were not absolutely prepared to not only deal with it, but pass these tests with flying colors and make it through the next side. And I know it seems tiring because we go through, like Chris is saying, ring of fire after ring of fire. And it's exhausting. And we're like, God, I just can't handle this. But you can. And that's the only reason why challenge after challenge is being presented. We're growing from this so much. So this is happening right now. Initiation of the spirit. Let's see what the challenge is right now. A major arcanum card. Okay, so we had an ace and the Hierophant. This is why I go live, because all you beautiful people tuning in right now, 116 of you, are helping to open up the portal to more magic than I can ever do on my own. And also, I can't make this up. You're watching this live. You watched me shuffle. You watched me pull these cards out. Ace of Wands and the Hierophant? And for those of you who don't know what the Hierophant is, let's jump in. Just look at that card. Super powerful. So if this is our challenge, what does this look like right now? The Hierophant is all about the heart's compass. Having a firm foundation in what you believe is the truth. So that no matter how many conflicting or opposing views or perspectives you come across, you can still see the truth behind it. Because the truth is in all things. And I think that the reason this is a challenge right now, my foot is falling asleep. I think the reason that this is a challenge right now is because, first of all, the challenge is also always the gift. The opposite always lies hidden within. So we're taking our heart's compass to the next level. Okay? So how do we get there without the challenge? Like, you need the challenge. Without a challenge, there's nothing to transcend. So we're being put to the test. A lot of false information. A lot of people shouting out their opinions. And a lot of those opinions, again, based on false information. But you can sit there arguing and opposing and exerting what you believe is true, and then all that's going to happen is you get stuck in this loop of the same BS that you're frustrated with that other people are doing. So it's like a vicious cycle. So instead of wasting your time looking around and saying, gosh, all this is false, I don't know what to believe in, I don't know what to believe in, go back within, tune into your heart. What does it tell you is true? And how can you see the truth behind what people are saying? That's by tuning into what they're feeling, the energy behind their words. So for example, if somebody's speaking something that you don't believe to be true, maybe you can look a little bit deeper, peel a layer off and look a little bit deeper and ask, why is this person saying this? Maybe they're hurt, maybe they're upset. And what's way more important than what they're saying is acknowledging that person's feelings and that they're upset and that this is an individual expressing a collective feeling. And that's what's really important. So it's not about arguing with everybody who's right, who's wrong. And this was a lot of the activation last week. If you didn't see that, go ahead, pause this and tune into that or check it out later. But right now, it's all about making sure that we develop our heart's compass and that we have a strong system of values and beliefs so that as we move through the next phase of our fiery initiation, one after the next in 2020, we'll be prepared for it. So the 5 is right before the 6. What is the 6, right? Because you always look to the next one to see where are we headed. Because the story keeps on going. The wheel keeps on turning. So how can we look at the next card and allow that to ready us for what's to come? The 6 major arcanum is the Lovers, better known in ancient Egypt as the 2 paths. A fork in the road. Important decisions to be made. But there are so many paths. Which way to go? Well, when we come to that fork in the road, when we come to that point where we have to make really important decisions, because even the smallest of decisions can have such a profound effect, right? Because the butterfly effect, the domino effect, right? Every little decision we make, every thought we think even has an effect on the whole. So how can we best prepare ourselves now so that when we reach that time to make a decision, it's coming from a place in the heart? We won't be paralyzed in fear. Oh shit, I don't know what to do or which way to go because so many people have told me go this way, go that way, and you feel like the scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz. Go this way. Ah! And your eyes just cross at the sight of this decision that you need to make. We don't want that to happen. You don't want to be paralyzed in fear. So how can you best prepare your heart's compass to guide your way in a way that when you're approaching, a crossroads in this material reality, you can see the spiritual reality behind it? Because this world is the world of effects, okay? The world of causes is the spiritual world, the unseen realm. So how can you remain aware of that so that when you're faced with a really important decision, you don't base that decision just on what you see, the world of appearances and just what's right before your human eyes? No. How can you pause, take a moment, tune into your heart, and see which way is going to be the best way for the one and all? And there's always going to be multiple paths to take. There will always be options. It's a reflection of the experience of free will here in this reality. But what is the best way? And not what is the best way that Tommy suggests you take, or that Bill suggests you take, or that Molly suggests you take, or your mom, or your dad, or your friend, or your lover. No. What's the best way, despite all contradiction, that you know in your heart is the best way to take, the best path to take, the best decision to make? So it's really time, right now, as we're in the middle of all these conflicting views and different opinions and advice. Prepare for the end times. No, don't prepare. Everything's going to be fine. Oh, I won't even get into all the conflicting views because I know you're already feeling it. But now's the time to check in with yourself. What is your truth? Allow that to guide you. And the world of appearances can be so deceiving. Something seems jolly on the outside. Yet when you look a little bit deeper, you see that in the long run, that may not be the best way, the best decision, or the best path to take. So be careful and listen only to your heart. Don't close up to the opinions or advice of others. I sometimes I hear often actually people saying, oh, well, I need to take a social media break because there's just too much everywhere. There are too many conflicting opinions. It's just overwhelming. Well, perhaps you did not develop a strong heart's compass then. It's like when a person gives up smoking and they say, I can't watch a movie because someone's going to smoke a cigarette in there and it's going to make me want it. Well, then have you really gotten to the root of the situation? Because there's always going to be that stuff. And it's not so much about that stuff as it is about your grounding into your truth so that no matter what, whenever you're inevitably faced with that stuff, you are a pillar in your own truth. You are rooted and it does not matter. And you're not sitting here in fear over what you might come across that could ultimately destruct your tower. Well, then is your tower really sustainable? So the tower essentially has to be built in your heart, and it has to be built upon a foundation of truth. Otherwise, it will crumble. If you're saying things like, oh, I'm afraid of what people are saying right now, I'm afraid to see the news, then you're not rooted in your truth enough, and you need to sit with that and really look at that and ask yourself why. Don't be afraid of people's untruths or people's manipulations. This has been a theme all week. I always get people asking me, aren't you afraid of being manipulated by the tarot, these cards, or unseen forces? No, I'm not afraid. The truth is in all things. So even if I'm viewing from a point of manipulation, a lens that has been manipulated, there is some truth in it. I may be limited from seeing the whole truth, but there's still truth to be found. So it's really about your lens of perception, developing that truthful lens within your mind's eye, so that you never have to fear manipulation or deception, because even within it, you will find the truth. So don't be afraid of all of what everybody's saying right now. Don't show your weakness. Don't be weak. You have all of the strength and fire within you that you need to do this. I'm telling you. I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't be what you are. You're perfect exactly as you are in this moment. I'm just trying to remind you of the fire inside, and that you don't have to be afraid. You can allow the words of others, however manipulated you think they are, to pass through you. Why waste your precious energy resisting what anyone has to say when you can just allow it to move through you? All of reality is vibration, is sound and light. Nothing has to stay inside of you. You can allow it to pass through. And the only reason that wouldn't happen, the only reason there would be resistance or there would be discomfort, is because of your own lack of a stable foundation in your truth. So take back your power. Don't you waste any tiny iota of your energy, thought energy, or your presence, your awareness, on fear of the untruths or the dogma, the manipulations. Who cares? The truth is in all things. And knowing that one thing and knowing it truly deeply in your heart and in your mind, you have nothing to fear. I think that sometimes people, I'll bring my personal life into this. Sometimes people think that I'm naive because it's just not all goodness and love. And I know that. But in me, there is only that. And when there's not, I will do whatever it takes to transform that. And that's why I'm protected. And I've always been protected. I've had such a blessed life because of this. It's not to say I haven't gone through my challenges. But in the deepest part of my being, I know that there is only truth at the core. Deception, darkness, manipulations, they have their purpose in place. But it's still temporary. We always return to the light. When you pass through this world, when you cross over, nothing of those denser frequencies that are born of darkness, manipulation, hate, fear can even go with you. So I'm not saying it's not real. It's very real for the time being. But it does not last. It is not sustainable. That's just the truth. It's not fluffy to think this way. It's realistic. And once people start accepting this as reality, we'll begin to bridge that gap between those light workers who are, overly fluffy and just believe everything's unicorns and rainbows, and those light workers that believe it's all about the shadow work and we just need to acknowledge the darkness. Like, let's just acknowledge the dark and light for what they really are. The light and the shadow. Everything that is born within the shadow eventually returns to the light. That's all I'm saying. Yes, the darkness is real. Yes, these bodies and this material reality is sacred because it's born of the light, but it returns there. That's all I'm saying. So yes, live fully presently. Be in your body. Enjoy this world of the senses, but use it for a higher purpose. Because only when we marry the material reality, and this is such a Shabbat concept, by the way, only when we marry the material reality to the spiritual and make it work for the higher realms will we create something of it that is sustainable. Because the tower eventually falls, but the one in your heart does not. So this being our current challenge is also the gift. We're refining our heart's compass right now. Don't deny old traditions, but make them your own. Don't deny new age traditions and rituals, but make them your own. We have to be careful when we are judging something as a part of the past or a way that the future is headed in a direction maybe where we judge it as too new agey or too fluffy. But why though? Be careful. Just pause And don't just judge something as an outdated religion or a fluffy new age concept until you test it with your heart's compass first. Before you judge something, let it pass through. Your heart is a place of compassion. There's infinite space there. Your heart wouldn't say, no, screw that information. That's not true. It would say, well, let me just allow it to pass through and detect what level of truth is within it, discern what kind of truth is there. And if there's nothing, okay, the heart will just let it pass through. The heart wouldn't waste energy on, overanalyzing or judging. It would just say, let me just, what's the harm in seeing? What's the harm in holding this information or this pattern or this thing up to the truth? Like a cipher. Okay, so even if you feel something is absolutely an outdated tradition of the past, I welcome you to just look a little bit deeper. Maybe you will find something within that tradition, like maybe an original intention which helped to create that tradition that you vibe with. And so you may take the seed of that tradition and kind of make that tradition your own, slightly altering it, refining it to fit your truth system, your belief system, your lifestyle. Okay, and for all of you then who look to the New Agers and say, I really don't like how this is headed, I feel like this is a very manipulative ritual you're doing, well, ask yourself why. Ask yourself why you're so bothered. Okay, so before you begin to judge something as an outdated ritual or tradition of the past, or a BS ritual created by a New Age hippie, just really ask yourself why you're judging it so much and why it bothers you. And see how you can find the intention within it, and perhaps find that you agree. So it's about, the Hierophant is about seeing the divine proportion within all things. This is a secret of the number 5, Arcanum 5. How can you see yourself in all, rather than sinking into the judgment or making any quick conclusions about something being false or untrue? How can you see the truth within it? How can you see your own face within it? And again, this is the only way that we'll develop that heart's compass to the level that it needs to be developed right now, so that when we enter into the next fiery initiation, we are prepared and ready for it. All right, I want to pull one more card. Who is the ally right now? Who's our ally? So we've got this Ace of Wands, this Hierophant. Who is the ally that wants to show face right now? Five of Cups. Another 5. So we have an ace, a 5, and a 5. So this ally, let's talk first about the element. It's cups. It's emotions, the affections, the feelings of the heart. The cup, the grail, that is the heart. Now notice how 3 cups are spilled and 2 cups are standing behind. This card represents the quote, quality over quantity. And it's cups, it's the heart, so it's saying, okay, we might have had some disappointments. We might really be disappointed in all that we've lost as far as the heart and our feelings. Relationships that have ended or that are struggling. Whatever has been weighing heavy on your heart, instead of focusing on all that has spilled, instead of just being consumed by your disappointments? How can you see the opportunities still standing? We cannot move forward and reach this next level of developing our heart's compass to be able to move through the next fiery initiation if we're so busy lamenting over those spilled cups. First of all, what's in those cups, right? Quality over quantity can be way more fulfilling and powerful than the 3 that have spilled. What's in these cups can be way more valuable. But if we're so busy crying over what's already happened, crying over the past pain, past hurt, we won't see what's still standing. So it's important to know that although we've been through so much already in 2020, and it's painful and it's disappointing, there are still jobs to be done. There are still initiations on the way. So gather yourself and be ready. Don't be afraid. It's going to be good. It's all for our growth. It's always going to be good. And there are opportunities there inside those challenges. So think of that. Don't worry so much about what you've lost, because what you are about to gain is much greater. Much greater. Okay, so when we move through this next initiation, okay, the eclipse, solstice, so much fiery energy. As we move through that and we reach this new level of tuning into our heart's compass, staying strong in our truth when we want so badly to just cry over everything that's happened so far. But saying, no, I'm going to be strong. I know this is not the end. This is just the beginning. There's more to come. And not only am I going to be prepared for it, I'm going to see through the challenge that's on its way to the gift. I'm going to keep my eye on that prize. That's what it's really about. Okay, so keep your head up. Don't look back, look ahead. So much magic awaits us. You are strong. You have everything you need within you. Just remember your truth, tune into your heart, and do not fear manipulations. Don't hide from the deception, okay? Because hiding is just reflecting to you your own weakness and inability to really deal with what's coming. Don't hide from it, face it. And know that if you're rooted in your truth, you can and you will get through the darkness and all the struggles on their way. Just remember, challenge equals chariot. All right, you guys. I feel complete with that. Are you ready for this? You feeling that fire? You ready for this initiation? All of you who are watching this are your light workers, starseeds, whatever you want to call yourself. You are bringing in the new frequencies, the new earth, a new way of living. And for those of you who are rolling your eyes at this, I mean, is it really that far off? Think about it. Do you really want the world to continue on in the way it's going? No! You're out there protesting, screaming about it. So it's time to take the hands of your light worker brothers and sisters who've been doing this for decades even, and stop laughing at them and calling them fluffy, and maybe work together. Maybe all the water and the receptivity within the light worker community and all the fire of the protesting active community, maybe together we could take each other's hands and stop judging each other. Oh, you're too in the light. Oh, you're too in the dark. Shut up. Maybe we could just shut up and hold hands and recognize that we have a unified goal. And understand that when we stop judging each other and we take back our power and we acknowledge this unity in our goal for a new life, in justice and truth for all, maybe we'll start to get somewhere. Maybe we can work together for this. We're sharing the same goal. How I see this, I'm seeing a clear image coming in of, like I said, us taking each other's hands. The ones that are being super aggressive in this movement, and the ones that are being seemingly very passive in this movement and just, meditating on a better world. How can we see that both sides are needed, and how can we unify in our goal? Because we already are unified in our goal, and it's time to just be aware of that. So the way I see it is that we're all taking hands, and we're all recognizing that we're united and rooted in the same truth. And none of us need to fear each other. That's actually ridiculous. We don't need to fear each other, and we don't need to fear anyone. Because the truth is behind all things, and the truth is protected, always. Just like in the sun card that represents the truth radiating forth, there's actually a concrete wall behind the little baby riding the horse bareback. And that concrete wall is showing nothing can get in. The innocence and the truth is always protected. So I feel this Hierophant speaking to us right now, this generation of people who are either fighting or meditating for a new earth. We need both. How can we learn from each other? We all have the same truth underlying it all. This is us right now. This is the generation fighting for a new earth. We are the collective Hierophant. We are setting the new rules, the new religion. Religion. That's what we're doing. Okay? We know that the student and the teacher are one. We know that the truth is one. We know that we are all a part of the one heart. So it's time for us to show the way together. The Hierophant has two keys at the bottom here that are crossed. And that's showing that knowledge and wisdom go together. The two open the door to the third. Their synthesis unlocks the third. So how can we use all of our knowledge on both sides of the spectrum, from those who are, super aggressive and collecting, knowledge politically, and those who are being more passive and collecting knowledge spiritually? How can we put together the knowledge of all of the dimensions, all of the worlds, and unite in one goal, applying that knowledge with wisdom to get to a goal that we all want to see manifest? We can't have knowledge without wisdom, and we can't have wisdom without knowledge. And because we're all so busy fighting about, you're looking in the wrong direction, you're gathering the wrong knowledge, you're wasting your time in that world, instead of wasting our time judging each other on what world we're in or what knowledge we're gathering, why don't we all come together and unite so that we have as much knowledge as possible, as much perspective as possible, to widen the lens, to expand our perspective, not only as individuals, but as a collective consciousness, as a unified mind. Instead of judging, why don't we just see how all information is valuable when it's applied with wisdom? And wisdom is nothing without compassion. So without forgiving each other and understanding where each other's coming from, and without allowing each other to have a purpose in this divine unfolding, we're not there. We won't be applying all that we know wisely. So let's all hold hands, get together, and stop judging each other for being too much on this side of the spectrum or that. Don't you know we need the whole spectrum? We can all agree on that. If we want to see the whole picture, we especially have to look to those views that are seemingly opposing ours. Because if we only look in our own direction, if we only stick by what we know, we're not getting the whole picture. We're in this together. So especially when you think someone's view doesn't agree with yours, there's something there. Look a little bit more deeply. There's something that we need to see behind their words, behind the words of what they're saying. So let's not reject each other's path so long as we have the same intention. Okay, so even if I think this person is doing it all wrong, is not taking the right path, well, where do they think they're headed? Toward peace, toward a better world, right? So right there, we have the same intention. Awesome. I'm going to acknowledge that first and foremost before I start judging how wrong they are. I'm going to say, wow, thank you for uniting in this goal with me. And then I'm going to say, why did I think that their path to that same goal was wrong and mine is right? Because that's where the truth is really at. finding the bridge between what we think is so different. All things contain the truth, so it is up to us to find the bridge between those things that are seemingly opposite. So let's bring together all of our knowledge, all the different areas of knowledge, so that we could have the widest lens possible to see the truth, so that we can reach that point of circumspection that the sage, or as y'all know it as the hermit, sees. The hermit and the sage reaches this place of circumspection, but the hermit or the sage is able to do this because he or she is the archetype of that wisdom, the ability to be able to do that. So we can only do that together. So how can we put our heads together to reach this level of circumspection, to be a collective hermit or sage? And by the way, the hermit or sage is 9, number 9, which is endings, compassion, humanitarian. So how can we all unite in this one archetype, which is within all of us and which is in the roots of all creation, the foundation of all of life? How can we all meet in that same place, which will unite us in the one same root? Okay, so for example, if we all tune into the sage energy, the 9, also known as the hermit in modern decks or in modern tarot, if we all tune into that same frequency, we're all essentially tapping into the same root or the same source of energy. And that's very powerful. And you know what comes after the sage, number 9? 10. The wheel. An ending and new beginning. New stage. New earth. So the only way we can reach that 10 is by first coming to the 9, following the sequence, okay? Following the steps. And that 9 requires, that ending to reach that new beginning requires that we all reach this level of circumspection, which we cannot do without each other, which we especially then must look to these views that we deem as opposing or wrong. Well, there's still some truth there, and we have to get to that. We have to find the bridge. Otherwise, we're missing a vital piece of the puzzle. All right, so there you have it, you guys. 2 5s, one of them being a trump card, a major arcana card of the deck, and an ace of wands. We're ready to do this. We're ready to pull ourselves together, stop seeing all that has, the cups that have been spilled, stop lamenting over the pains of the past, and turn around and see that we still have opportunities standing. And although it looks like less cups than what has spilled, what's inside of them is up to us to start attracting, to start manifesting, to start believing in. Okay, so although these experiences have gone on and there's a lot of pain that has occurred in the recent past, I trust that the opportunities still standing are going to be way more valuable. And I'm ready for it. Bring it on. Bring on the fire. My heart's compass will guide the way. I'm not afraid. I see the truth. And I know that everyone around me also sees and feels that truth. And we're in this together. And I'm going to stop being so loud with my judgments and exerting my truth. I'm going to quiet down a little bit enough to see that we all really are sharing in the same goal. The new religion one. Okay? So, thank you guys for tuning in, opening this portal with me. I look forward to meditating on these cards, and I'm so excited to see who tunes in all over the world to ground this in with us. And like I said, this is only the beginning of the portal opening. Okay, we still have the solstice, we still have the eclipse, we still have this season, and this is only the beginning. So please share this message with people that you think will really add to the magic and multiply this magic with us. Who can you share this message with that when they enter this portal we've just opened, it's going to increase the power tenfold. Okay? Send it, share it. How many people can we get in the portal so that this message can unite us in our purpose, in our spiritual fire, to do what needs to be done, to pick ourselves up and move ahead, united in the new religion one. Thank you guys for tuning in. And thank you guys for sending me the pictures with my book. I love seeing all you beautiful people, all of your beautiful faces with my book. And some of you have been sending me pictures with my book on your altar, and that's so personal and intimate and special to me. And I'm making a collection of all of you with my book, and it's bringing me so much joy. My book is now in some stores in Sedona. That's super exciting. So thank you for your support in that, you guys. Also, if you're not yet subscribed, I do have a YouTube channel. I know a lot of you were like, where's your website? I just use a few different platforms and social media. So if you're not yet on my YouTube, you can go to youtube.com/RebeccaMagick. And if you hit subscribe, you will get notifications so that you don't miss out. And I think if you follow me here on Facebook, it will let you know when I go live. I'm not really so tech savvy, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So go ahead and subscribe, follow, stay tuned. I also have a private group here on Facebook called the Royal Path. And in ancient Egypt, tarot means the royal path. So it's all about the truth of the tarot, the ancient way. And we have quite a community building there. And so it's awesome to share your readings there, ask questions. It's a private group, so if you join it, just wait for me to approve your request. I also have a group called Shabbat Crew, and there I share more on Jewish mysticism and Kabbalah if you're interested in that. Again, it's called the Shabbat Crew. It's a private group as well. So I look forward to connecting with you guys on there. And next week will be the first quarter activation. So we'll see just how well we've developed this heart's compass and just how strongly we're uniting in this truth and standing our ground as the next initiation begins. So make sure you're tuned in. That way you can join me again next week to open up the portal. You're asking what crystal that I have. I don't get to see many of your comments, so I'm looking forward to reading all these after. Are you asking about the one on my neck? This is a mother of pearl, and the eclipse is going to be in Cancer. I'm a Cancer South node, and Cancer is just that mother energy. You know, that psychic energy, sensitive, protective, the mother of us all. And I just felt that this was helping me to call in that energy and remember that part of myself, that part of yourself, the part of the one self that we are all connected in. That great mother of pearl, soothes the emotions and the feelings. So this is a powerful time, you guys. Just remember, Cancer is a water sign. Cancer is connected to the moon, so it's a solar eclipse, but it's a sign that's ruled by the moon. So there's so much unity to see there. Okay, Cancer is also reminding us to tune into our own motherly energy, tune into our psychic energy in the name of helping others, in the name of uplifting the one. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Shabbat Shalom. And I'll see you next week for the first quarter activation. Aloha.
Peace.